Who Pays the Price for America's Data Center Boom? By Ginny Jones. Across the United States, massive data centers are appearing in nearly every state, often in rural areas, near lakes, aquifers, farmland, and small communities. They are marketed as clean, quiet engines of innovation and economic development. But for the people living next to them, the experience is very different. This isn't a story about technology gone wrong. It's a story about who benefits, who pays, and why the costs keep landing on ordinary citizens. The question we're not supposed to ask: the average person does not need hyperscale data storage. Most human data use is modest and intermittent. Photos, messages, documents, streaming media, and basic cloud backups. These needs are compressible, regional, and easily served without 24/7 megawatt-scale compute facilities operating next to homes and water sources. So why are massive data centers being built everywhere? Because the primary demand does not come from individuals. It comes from institutions. Governments require enormous storage for surveillance, records retention, intelligence fusion, and compliance. Advertisers and data brokers depend on long-term behavioral tracking, identity graphs, and real-time bidding systems. Large corporations collect continuous telemetry, predictive analytics, and litigation data. Artificial intelligence systems require constant retraining on vast amounts of human behavior. None of this is necessary for basic communication, creativity, knowledge sharing, or commerce. It exists for prediction, monetization, and control. Why data centers are everywhere? Data centers are not placed where nature is safest or communities are most resilient. They are placed where rules are weakest. Corporations site these facilities where electricity is subsidized, water permits are permissive, environmental review is fragmented, and local governments are economically desperate for tax base or jobs. Residents in these areas often lack political influence or the resources to mount prolonged opposition. This is not coincidence or conspiracy. It is regulatory arbitrage, the systematic exploitation of uneven enforcement and short political time horizons. The local costs no one wants to talk about. Despite their clean branding, data centers are not benign neighbors. They produce constant low-frequency noise and vibration from cooling systems and transformers, sounds that are difficult for the human brain to filter and that have been linked to sleep disruption, headaches, anxiety, and concentration problems. Backup diesel generators emit exhaust during testing and outages. Heat plumes alter local microclimates. Water consumption can reach millions of gallons per day, stressing municipal supplies and aquifers. These impacts are poorly regulated because standards never lead technology. Enforcement is under-resourced, and data centers are often classified as industrial utilities rather than polluting facilities. The harm is real, local, and ongoing, but it rarely appears on corporate balance sheets. A familiar pattern with a new resource. This model is not new. It mirrors earlier eras of railroads, pipelines, mining, chemical plants, factory towns, and waste sites. In each case, profits were centralized while costs were externalized onto communities and ecosystems. What has changed is the resource being extracted. Before it was land, labor, and minerals. Now it is data, behavior, attention, and prediction. The same playbook applies. Promise jobs in progress, downplay long-term harm, fragment oversight, and frame opposition as anti-innovation. Who really pays? If corporations were required to fully internalize the environmental, health, and public systems costs they create, many of these projects would not be economically viable. They work only because communities involuntarily subsidize them. Ecosystems absorb damage silently, health costs are privatized, and future consequences are discounted. This is not corruption in the cinematic sense. It is legal, structural economics. The bottom line? Ordinary people are not driving the demand for hyperscale data centers. Surveillance, ad tech, and AI training are. The environmental and health impacts experienced by communities are documented and predictable. The siting pattern reflects weak regulation, not public benefit. People are not angry at technology itself. They are reacting to extraction without consent, a system where the profits flow upward while the costs stay local. Until that imbalance is addressed, the question will remain the same. Why is progress always something done to communities, rather than something chosen by them?